I bear witness there is nothing worthy of worship except Allah. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and final messenger. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who have believed, fear Allah as He should be feared, and do not die except in the state of Islam. أما بعد فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى يقول في محكم تنزيله بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. Never will you attain birr, the good reward, until you spend in the way of Allah from that which you love. And whatever you spend, indeed Allah is knowing of it. This is such a powerful verse, and the khutbah is about talking about this verse in details. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول لن تنالوا البر. وما هو البر؟ أيها الإخوة، البر هي طاعة الله، ومن معاني البر مطلق عطاء الله، ومن معاني البر الجنة. فهي طاعة الله التي تؤدي بك إلى عطاء الله، وهي سبب لعطاء الله، وعطاء الله هو الجنة. فإذا أعنك الله أن تطيعه فقد أعطاك شيئا تسعد به إلى الأبد. ونسأل الله العون عدة مرات في اليوم. كلما تقرأ سورة الفاتحة تقول إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So the verb is obedience and submission to Allah. And it means the ultimate giving from Allah. And it also means al-Jannah. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enables you to worship Him and to obey Him, He has given you something big that will lead you to eternal happiness. And you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable you and to help you worship Him several times every day. Every time you pray, you say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, it is you we worship, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, it is you we seek help from. Means we seek help from you to be able to worship you in the best possible way. So birr means obeying Allah, also means the ultimate gifting and giving from Allah. وطاعة الله عطاء كبير من الله لك. والحكيم من اتقى وخاف وأطاع الله. والجاهل من يعصي الله ولا يتقي. So a thoughtful and wise person will obey Allah, and an ignorant person does the opposite, disobeys Allah. ألم يقل يوسف عليه السلام قال ربي السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن أصب إليهن وأكن من الجاهلين. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam said, my Lord, prison is more to my liking than that to which they invite me. And if you do not avert from me their plan, I might incline toward them and thus be of the ignorant. So the ignorant person disobeys Allah, and a wise al-aqil هو الذي يطيع Allah, is the one who obeys Allah. And not every intelligent, every smart person is necessarily wise. You can accumulate a lot of wealth if you're smart. You can gather people around you if you're smart, whether it's a legal way or illegal way. You can accumulate a lot in your dunya by being smart, but if you don't obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not wise. So not every smart person is wise. So the wise person is the one who obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ليس كل ذكي بعاقل. الذكاء قد يعينك على جمع الناس حولك وربما لا تكون على حق تجمعهم لمصلحتك. الذكاء يعينك على جمع الأموال الطائلة بحق أو بغير حق، لكن العقل يعينك على طاعتهم، على معرفة وطاعة الله، وعلى العمل لجنة عرضها السماوات والأرض. So being wise, being a thoughtful person, you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because your goal is to go to Jannah, inshallah. So when you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have achieved what you were created for. You were created to obey and worship Allah. And when you are servant and slave to Allah, you have achieved the goal of your creation. وقد تكون حققت عبوديتك لله عز وجل. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was in the highest position, في سدرة المنتهى, the tree of the outmost boundaries. At that time, he described the Prophet as his slave. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. He described the Prophet as his slave when he was in the highest position. When the Prophet was in the highest and doing the utmost honorable mission, which is to call to Allah. عندما كان الرسول في أعلى مهمة وهي الدعوة إلى الله، الله سبحانه وتعالى قال عنه أن وصفه بأنه عبد لله. الله سبحانه وتعالى said in the Quran, وأنه لما قام عبد الله يدعوه كادوا يكونون عليه لبدا. When the Prophet was doing da'wah, was spreading the message of Islam, which is the highest honorable mission or job you can do, Allah described them as his servant. So, the most honorable position you can reach in your life is actually to be a slave and servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now going back to the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you will not attain birth. You will not attain being a true servant to Allah, or you're not going to obey Allah and eventually get the reward from Him, what's the Jannah, until لن تنالوا البر حتى. So, معنى لن تنالوا البر أي لن يسمح لكم بعبودية الله التي تدخلكم إلى الجنة حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. You will not attain birth obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will not attain His approval until you abstain from that which you love. And every one of us, we strive to go to Jannah. ولكن طلب الجنة بدون ثمن هو استهزاء. Asking to go to Jannah without working for it, you underestimate the fairness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to work for it. So what is the price? What is the price to go to Jannah? The price is to put control on your nafs, to control yourself. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَىٰ. As for he who feared the position of his Lord and prevented his nafs from unlawful inclination, Jannah is the final destination. So again, لن تنالوا البر. You will not attain the obedience to Allah that earn you His approval until you pay the price. And the price to favor what He has over this dunya. ثمن الطاعة أن تؤثر ما عند الله على ما عندك في الدنيا. Means you spend from that which you love. So what do you love? Ask yourself, what do you love in this dunya? Family, time, money, knowledge, status, health, positions, friends. What do you love? What are you willing to spend for the sake of Allah? ما هو الشيء الثمين في حياتك؟ هل هو المال، الوقت، المقام، الأصدقاء، الجالية؟ ما هو الشيء الثمين في حياتك؟ This dunya is full of, we're busy in this dunya. We have jobs, we have plans, we have programs. When you take from your precious time and you seek knowledge, when you take from your precious time to help your Muslim brother, when you take from your precious time to do da'wah, to spread Islam, to enjoy what is right and forbid what is wrong, when you have time to read Quran, memorize Quran, then you are spending from that which you love. So spending not necessarily money. Everything you can spend it for the sake of Allah. Spend from your kindness, spend from your patience, spend from your mercy, spend from your time, your money, your status. Everything you have, you can put it for the sake of Allah. Some people, the most precious thing is their time. So take from your time for the sake of Allah. If you're sitting with your family enjoying gathering and someone knocks on your door, your Muslim brother knocks on your door, say that I need your help. Take from your time and help. If your parents need help, you take from your time to care for your parents. You take from your time to care for your wife, for your children. You take from your time to get up from the night and do prayer. So take from that something that's precious from you and put for the sake of Allah. Some people, the most precious thing for them is money. Use your money for the sake of Allah. Spend from your money. You're not going to get what Allah has for you until you put something for it. And that's the difference. A believer, al-mu'min ata wal kafir akhid. That's the general rule. Mu'min gives. An unbeliever only takes from dunya. You know, the most precious thing for you may be your status. You may قد يكون لك شأن كبير في المجتمع. لست بحاجة إلى أحد. You may be someone who has a high status in society. You don't need anybody. You're self-sufficient. And a weak brother comes to you and tells you, can you talk to so and so for me? Spend from your status. Work for the sake of Allah. Spend from your time, come to the masjid. Some people show up to the masjid when they have fight at home because they have nothing else to do. They're not showing up to the masjid. Take from your precious time and come to the masjid. Populate the masjid. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You're not going to attain birr until you spend from that which you love. You're not going to get His blessing or His help until you obey Him. لن تنال رضاه، لن تنال توفيقه، لن تنال مباركته إلا بطاعتك وإنفاق الشيء الثمين. So you have to spend from what you have. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the believers. He said, تتجافى جنوبهم عن المضاجع يدعون ربهم خوفا وطمعا ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. They rise from their bed, they supplicate to their Lord in fear and aspiration, and from that which we provided them, they spend. Again, spending is not necessarily money. Whatever else Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for you, you can spend from that. From your health, if you're strong, if you're, again, you have high status, if you're well connected, if you're powerful, if you're rich, you spend from that which you have. To enter Jannah, you have some time to inconvenience yourself for the sake of Allah. Then you pay the price to enter Jannah. To wish to enter Jannah without putting the work and paying the price is foolish. You want to enter Jannah, you have to do the work. If you're able to spread fairness in the society, you do that. If you're able to speak the word of truth, you do that. You spend from your knowledge if you are. Don't think that dunya is more precious. I advise myself and all of you that dunya should not be more precious to you than obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If anything in this dunya is more precious to you than obeying Allah, then your road to Allah is blocked. So if the money that you hold is more important to you than spending it for the sake of Allah, then the road to Allah is blocked. If satisfying your wife or the wife satisfying her husband is more important to them than obeying Allah, then the road to Allah is blocked. If you favor anything over obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your road is not. Your road is blocked towards Allah. One of the companions of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he had a beautiful piece of land. He had springs of water, had trees, and was next to the masjid. When he heard this verse, he came to the Prophet and he said, Ya Rasulullah, O Prophet of Allah, this piece of land, I understand, is very much to Allah to me. But it is you. I put it for the sake of Allah. So do whatever you want with it. That's why the companions of the Prophet, they put everything they had for the sake of Allah. And now we look at our situation now, the Muslim nowadays. What did we do for our deen? Compared with the companion of the Prophet, what did we do for our deen? ماذا قدمنا أمام ما قدم الصحابة؟ They spent their time, their money, they left their homes, they were with the Prophet at the hardest time. And now what do we do? What are we doing for our deen really? Nowadays, a lot of Muslims are isolate themselves. They say, I'll just worry about myself, worry about my family, and that's it. They don't care what happens outside. This type of Muslim will never get a victory from Allah. هذا النموذج من المسلمين لا يستحق نصر الله. المسلم الذي ينتمي إلى ذاته إلى مصالحه يحب أن يعيش وحده وأن يأكل وحده وأن يستمتع بالحياة وحده. هذا النموذج من المسلمين لا يستحق نصر الله. We have to be invested in each other. And the ways to do good is very wide. Very wide. All you need to do is just put the work. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, spend from that which you love. A lot of the Muslims, unfortunately, they put leftovers they give to the needy. Or old clothes. Again, they show up to the masjid when they have nothing, nowhere else to go, they have a fight at home, so they don't spend the most precious thing when it comes to giving for the sake of Allah. You have to understand that you're gifting Allah. When you give someone very important, you spend the time and you put thoughts into picking a gift. So when you give for the sake of Allah, shouldn't you pay more attention to that? لن تنالوا البر حتى تنفقوا مما تحبون. You're not going to attain birr until you spend from that which you love. وما تنفقوا من شيء فإن الله به عليم. وقولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. The ways to do good are many and wide. A person who loves money, his way to please Allah is through his money. Spend your money. A man who likes to reach a high status in society, his way to please Allah is to use his status for the sake of Allah, or his connections for the sake of Allah. Every person loves to be with the well-connected people, with the rich, with the strong people. In their gathering, go to their homes. But a believer loves to be with the believers. So whatever you can do for the sake of Allah, to achieve his obedience, so you end up going to Jannah, inshallah. And a believer is kind to everyone around him. A believer is even kind to animals. There is a hadith on Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال عذبت امرأة في هرة حبستها حتى ماتت جوعا فدخلت فيها النار. Means a woman entered hellfire because it locked a cat and prevented this cat from access to water and food. So if imagine a woman go to hellfire because didn't treat a cat well and the cat died. Imagine those who are killing many people, killing an entire population, locking them, imprisoning them, depriving them from food, water, medicine. What do you think they're going to happen to them on the day of judgment? But Allah is great. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of everything. And He is the wise. Now this verse stands, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا تُنْفِقُ مِنْ شَيْءٍ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ بِهِ عَلِيمٌ. Whatever you spend, Allah is knowing of it. He knows how much, the frequency, the time, the location, your intention behind it. He knows everything about it. Then Allah alim ya'lam sirraka wa jahrak. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم اللهم طهر قلوبنا من الرياء وألسنتنا من الكذب وأعيننا من الخيانة فإنك تعلم خائنة الأعين وما تخفي الصدور اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مباركا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا معنا ولا منا شقيا ولا محروما اللهم إنا نستعينك ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك اللهم لا تؤاخذنا بما فعل السفهاء منا. اللهم انصر اخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر اخواننا في غزه واكشف ما بهم من ضر. اللهم اشف مرضاهم وداوي جرحاهم وارحم موتاهم وتقبل شهداءهم وانصرهم على عدوهم واستخدمنا في نصرتهم. اللهم عليك باعدائهم واعداء المسلمين فانهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم ارحم موتى المسلمين. Our brother in the community lost his sister. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive her and have mercy on her and enter her into Jannah, inshallah. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.